I am just so happy that he is alive today. But we need to welcome in our studio Channel 7's chief meteorologist, Dave Rexroth, who today goes back to work, guys, after his tragic accident that took place, fireworks accident. And Dave, welcome back. Welcome back to our studio, but also welcome back to Channel 7.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I appreciate it, guys, very much. I got to tell you, I'm impressed that you held back on the Katy Perry fireworks song. So.
We discussed it.
I appreciate that.
There was a meeting.
We've got some eye jokes coming up, though. I hope you don't mind that. But
hey, tonight, obviously a big night for you. You've been practicing, should I say, rehearsing?
Yeah, I started back to work last week.
Yeah.
And I figured, I've been doing this for a while. I get back in there, and I was, you're sitting around for 2 months and waiting for your body to heal. You start to get a little anxious, and I was ready to go. And the bosses are smarter than me, of course, and they said, listen, come in, get started, get used to things. And it really was a smart deal because I have a prosthetic eye in my left eye now.
Right.
And it moves, but it doesn't move fully like my right eye still does, and it doesn't move actually sometimes as quickly. There's a ball of muscles behind there, and the lids kind of keep the prosthetic sucked to it, and so there's friction that moves it around. But my eyes, when I quick and turn and talk to you, they move at different paces, and so we were looking at in the chroma key, the weather wall, whether it's going to work or not, and how it's going to work and how I turn. So took a little time to get
you guys make it look easy, but there's a lot of visual cues. I mean, standing in front of that green screen, you got to be looking at 3 different things at once just to do the weather smoothly. So.
Yeah, there's nothing there. I mean, a lot of people now know how they use the chroma key in movies and all that. See the green screen and all that. But you've got to look different places, kind of pick a target, turn, and find it somewhere else. And that was, I just wasn't sure how that was going to work at first.
Yeah.
Here's what I want to do. I want to start from the beginning because there may be some listeners that
they weren't
over
listening
the
this
summer.
They were sleeping in.
Yeah, might have missed
For
this.
example, Mojo, I was out to dinner. We didn't do much the last couple of months. We went to dinner once and sat down, and the waitress came over and said, "Hey, everybody, how's your summer?"
Oh my gosh!
And my wife was kind of nice. She stepped in and ran, and she's like, "Nah, not so great."
Let's take everybody back. Dave Rexroth is with us right now from Channel 7's back tonight on Channel 7 at 4:00. He's going to be his first weather forecast.
The Now.
Yeah. So you're vacationing in Iowa where your
Debbie's
family
parents
lives,
live.
right?
Yep.
The in-laws live. And you're doing what I did. I know that a lot of our listeners did. You were lighting fireworks off with the family, and you were smart enough that you were the adult lighting the fireworks off.
Trying to be.
And can you tell the listeners what happened?
Yeah, we do this every year. We get together in Iowa. Debbie's got a sister, and it's just the two of them. So they come from California. We come to Detroit. We get together, and we have a nice time. The family stay and play. It's a great place in Iowa for the kids to grow up together, being that far apart across the country. So we get going. It's dark. We do fireworks. We had lit a few and lit one, and it didn't do what I thought it was going to do. And, of course, I had the kids off to the side. There was only a couple kids there, my oldest and my youngest and a niece, and everybody else was up at the house watching. There's a pretty good size yard, so we're away from the house and everything. And it didn't do what I thought it was going to do. I went to check it out, and before I knew it was on the ground.
Wow.
And of course, my oldest is a sophomore now in college, and he has a pretty sharp tongue like I do. So he, was telling me, "Dad, you always tell me not to." And, and so it is that whole do as I say.
So wait, so he was telling you this while you were on the ground?
He's telling me this before it happened. So,
before it happened.
And the hardest thing to get over in this whole deal has been the guilt, the stupidity that I feel toward myself because I put my kids through this.
And you were worried about, your first thoughts were about the future of the family because you're thinking, I just screwed up my TV gig. You're still lying on the ground thinking about, oh my God, how am I going to put my kids through college?
Right. When I got up off, or I didn't get off the ground, my son came over. He ripped his shirt off.
Where did it hit you?
In the face. Oh, I didn't know at the time. That's what I'm saying.
So what you're laying on the ground? Describe that to the listeners.
I'm laying on the ground and I'm yelling for help, and I yelled to my oldest son Andrew because I know he was there, and he's the college student, and I didn't know for sure, honestly, what had happened. I knew it was something in my head or my face.
Were you bleeding? You felt the blood?
When I felt my arms getting warm, it was like a movie. It was just it was shocking and grotesque, and when I felt my arms getting warm, I knew that was my own blood, and I knew I was really, really messed up.
Could you see anything with your other eye?
You grimace and you just kind of bear it. So no, I didn't have my other eye open. Okay. And the weird thing was when they got me to the ambulance, the paramedics started checking my right eye. I'm like, you idiots, it's not my right eye. Then I get to the emergency room, and the doctors start checking my right, and I'm thinking, why is everybody checking my right eye? Well, my wife later, 2 or 3 days when I woke up in the hospital, said, honey, I could tell by looking at your left eye that it was never going to work. So they were doing their job and making sure whatever visibility I was going to have was going to be protected by my right eye. That's why I got the fancy specs on.
Oh, wow. And okay, now, and by the way, it's funny because I've been sitting there, and please don't be upset with me. I'm staring at this fake eyeball the entire time. And it looks fantastic.
It really does.
It looks unbelievable.
I've learned a lot of an ocularist is a person who makes prosthetic eyes.
Okay.
Who knew?
And I have a really good new friend in Iowa.
All right, so you're in the hospital. The accident happens. You go to the hospital. They put you under with something. They medicate you heavy.
Yeah, this was a Friday night, 4th of July. So by the time they call in the resident, and the resident says, "Whoa, this isn't going to be me that does this." Then they call in the doctor, and then they call in the surgeon, and then they call in the expert, and so they got started in the middle of the night on surgery to try and save my left eye. 7.5 hours later, it's almost noon on Saturday, and I'm just coming out of the operating room, and they tell Debbie that it's never going to work.
Wow.
And then we had a second surgery with a different group of doctors.
Did they
later.
tell Debbie and not tell you?
Well, I was out.
Okay, so you're
Yeah.
out the entire time.
When I woke up, it was Sunday, and I thought it was Saturday, so I missed a whole day of the world, and I was really confused.
Wow.
If you're on that, they got you knocked out for a
Yeah.
long
Sure.
time.
So
And it
Dave-
wasn't just the eyesight you were losing, but the fireworks shattered bone in your eye
It didn't
socket.
shatter. It broke the orbital bone. I guess
Okay.
which is real common in that lower part of your eye socket. It's real common because there's holes there for nerves and all. So that was pretty common. I've got some nerve damage still in my face and up into my forehead and all the way in the back of my head. I'm still kind of numb. I went to work last week and said, listen, if you guys really want me to remember something, just tack it to my forehead.
Wow.
Because I won't feel it.
Right.
So Dave Rexroth with us right now from Channel 7, his first exclusive interview on the radio since the fireworks accident. So you wake up, Debbie is there, and she's the one that has to deliver the news to you, or did a doctor deliver the news to you?
No, she did.
So Debbie sits you down. You and your wife have been married for how long?
23 years.
Okay, you guys have gone through, I'm sure, crazy, marital life like everybody does. You
Right.
raised these, beautiful kids and sent son off to college and all this stuff. It's got to be the toughest thing she's ever had to do.
Yeah, but but she had to do it about 6 or 7 times because I was in and out of consciousness and the drugs were wearing off. And what the weird part was she had told me a couple of times and it was hard to take. And then she left the room, and her father and my in-laws are fantastic. We're really, really close. He had come back in because she needed to tell everybody, okay, call my father. He's awake now. Why don't you come from Minnesota down and that kind of thing. And then he told me what she had been telling me for a while, but I never really registered what she said. So he says it to me. I said, "What do you mean my eye's going to go? What do you mean it's never going to work again?" So it was just a soup of in and out of consciousness and weirdness.
What's the first thing pops in your head when that you thought of when she said you lost your eye?
Well, it's the same thing as Spike was saying. The very first thing I thought of when I got injured was I've just ruined my boys and my wife's life by not being able to provide for them. And so when we had that conversation again, when I really registered it with my father-in-law, I just started crying again because I thought, and I hadn't seen myself either. You're laying in a hospital bed. There's not mirrors everywhere. I didn't know, even at that time, if my face was burned up, my hair was gone. I was not until late on Sunday that I found out I still basically going to look the same, especially after what they do with my new eye. So it was just another round of shock and trying to figure out if life was going to be normal or not.
Dave, I have to tell you, when the news came to us, because it came to us fairly quick. I mean, obviously, when you work in media, even though you're in Iowa, you know what I mean, it comes. The first thought I was wondering was, will Dave ever going to be able to work again?
Yeah, I had that. That was my first thought too. And then the doctors kind of slapped me around after I was a little bit more coherent. And because it was Sunday when I woke up, and then Wednesday was the second surgery to remove it. They said if you don't remove it, the body will attack it and could go after your good eye too. So we take it out. And I was feeling pretty bad at that point, of course. And then they said, look, you have no idea how close your eyeball is to your brain. A 1/4 inch here, a 1/16 of an inch there could have meant a whole different thing. So they kind of woke me up and slapped me around and said, look, this is what we do. This is what we're going to do for you. And it's a good thing. And we got to move on.
And you were lucky that you were in what, Iowa State's? What hospital were you at?
Oh, the Hawkeyes would be so upset with you.
Oh, is it the University of Iowa?
Iowa City, yeah.
Iowa City. You were
Yep.
at Iowa City,
Yep.
which is the university hospital. So it'd be like if it happened in going to Ann Arbor, right?
Right. And good, great hospitals, great doctors,
Okay.
great people.
All right. So I want to go back to this whole thing because there's so many things that are going through my mind that I think that you could share with the listeners on this that have watched you for so long. So you then have to go through the fight of your life. They at Channel 7, who you got some great management over there.
Absolutely.
They share it with the viewers, and overwhelmingly, people start going, we've got to get behind Dave and Debbie and the kids.
Were you just in awe of the outpouring of love for you?
It was really unexpected. You hear people come up and say hi and that kind of thing, but it was really unexpected and overwhelming, and the encouragement and it's everybody says, hey, we're thinking about you, we're praying for you, we hope you do well, but you guys will be amazed. You start going around and asking people. There are people this week at work that I've worked with for 14 years that said, hey, my left eye doesn't work or my right eye doesn't work. A woman at church that I've known for 15 years walked up to me the first time I went back to church and said, I just want to tell you I can help you. The people that are in this community, if you will, of singular vision are everywhere and are living full lives, and it's fantastic. And everybody's been supportive.
And I'm sure you've heard from people that have lost other limbs and body parts and had,
Yep. And that's Debbie and I have I had something when we went and the doctor said we're going to take your eye out because it's never going to work. And they did it on Wednesday. Wednesday night, met with the pastor who is my in-laws pastor, and we had a great talk about my journey faith. And he said, look, you're at this point in your life now. And he said to me, what now? And I was ready to go make T-shirts and start whatnow.com. And I was so excited. I had the conversation straight. I couldn't sleep. My mind was going. My wife said, you got to rest. I think that Debbie and I want to go forward with this, and I'm not a grief counselor. I don't know how to handle all those things. I've been through it now pretty significantly myself, but we'd like to try and do some kind of a clearinghouse where people know they can come to a website and they could find what they need
to start.
Yeah.
I mean, your mere story is an inspiration for people who might go through a similar challenge.
Right, exactly. And some outreach and there's been some connection there. We posted, it was our anniversary during this whole time. I was still in a hospital bed, but I was back at home with my in-laws, our 23rd anniversary. And I posted something on Facebook and put a picture of us in our wedding gown and tuxedo, and 500,000 people saw that.
That's amazing.
And that's when I realized,
crazy?
okay, it's not going to be about me, but if I can move forward and the pastor said, what now? And,
So you get this overwhelming support from fans. You get management saying, we're with you, we're behind you, come back when you're ready. But then the pressure's on you. You have to learn how to use this thing.
Yeah, you got to perform.
I've only had my eye for less than 2 weeks.
Yeah. So it's like you got to figure it out.
And it was really worried, Spike, and discouraged for a while because they put a huge contact lens in there just so the socket doesn't kind of degrade and collapse on itself. And it does. My eye didn't open. My eye didn't really move at all. And so it wasn't until about 2 weeks ago that I realized things were going to be okay. I had seen everybody with these prostheses. People were telling me, coming out of the woodwork on social media, emails, stopping me on the street in my neighborhood. You're going to be okay. I know somebody. It
doesn't look that different.
No,
it really doesn't.
No. And the guy that built it said I had beautiful eyes.
Wow.
You do. But you have no depth perception, correct?
Right. If you really like that shot of Mojo right now, you take a picture. You see him in 3D now, but when you look at the picture, you look at a flat picture.
It's flat.
That's basically what my
So even things like brushing your teeth become a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, that's been the hardest. I don't know why, but I guess it's because instead of reaching,
Wait, you're not brushing your teeth
No.
anymore? What the hell is going on?
Get close, Spike. Come on.
Yeah.
It was hard because both hands are working together, and you only use your depth perception for about the first 25 feet. I've been reading all about this, but when it's closer up, it's more important because the separation of your eyes helps determine that. And so, the very first time I poured orange juice, I poured the whole pitcher on the floor.
Wow.
And that was not cool. But
Hey, Kelly wants to say hi to you, Dave. Kelly's one of our listeners here. What's up, Kel? You're on with Dave Rexroth from Channel 7. His first
Hi, good
interview, and
morning.
he's back tonight on Channel 7 at 4 o'clock.
Well, I'm hoping to get out of work in time to watch you, but we have it recorded. Dave, I just wanted to say you're an inspiration. I followed you for years, and just it's heartwarming. I'm on my way to work, just crying because of your story.
Well, I appreciate it, Kelly, very much, and hopefully they're tears of joy, because I had to go through the trauma and all that downtime, but it's moving forward, and it's exciting now. So thank you very much.
Tell me about the boys. How traumatized are the boys? And did you guys do counseling with them afterwards after they witnessed this?
We were told by a lot of people who know you have to have determined, specific talks about this, and so we did that. It was one of my nieces was there too, so we talked a few times, and Debbie and I have had meetings with pastors, and we have had meetings with psychologists and therapists, and we've gotten to the point now where I really feel good, because this was the hardest thing for me. Sitting around letting your eye heal is one thing, but healing your spirit, healing your heart is a little different. And through actually making sure we talk, it's now, I understand that it's Dad's problem that we were a part of. That's my son's aspect in how they look at it now. It's not their problem, and I'm really glad we got to that point and not there.
Am I safe to assume that nobody in the family is ever going to use fireworks ever again?
I made them all raise their right hand, and I will not.
I don't think you would need to.
Right, one of my boys is a little pyro guy and a little fire guy, and I said, listen, you have to understand why we're not going to go forward.
I'm not kidding you when I say this to you, that we had a whole bunch of stuff set off to do the next day after the story broke here in town. I couldn't do it. I couldn't. In what you and I have known each other for a while. Our kids play basketball against each other and stuff, and we've coached against each other and stuff. I saw myself in you, and I thought, I don't want to do this to my family, and I am so happy you're alive, and I realize how God does work in mysterious ways, doesn't he?
I think so. And I'll tell you what, I got to tell you one thing. I'm not going to be the poster child that walks around and thumps no fireworks, no fireworks, no fireworks, because I want people to make their own choices. And there are rules and laws. But I will tell you that I'm not using them again. I'm going to make sure my boys aren't using them again. And my doctor said, with the position that you're in, you can help us by letting people know eye loss is typically from BB guns, paintball guns, and fireworks, and young to middle-aged men.
Wow.
And if people could be smart with safety goggles or not do it and leave it to the professionals, for an example of fireworks, the doctors would rather be out farming in Iowa than working at the hospital.
We told your story early that Monday morning, and obviously an overwhelming amount of calls from people who've been through similar fireworks accidents, and couldn't believe the number of calls that came in but the one thing you all had, but the one thing every story had in common, like yours was, they've all done it for years, and it was just that one erroneous firework. You don't know when that one's going to be packed wrong or made wrong. And
yeah, I was getting my glasses, and they said the other day to the surgeon, the last meeting I had, he said, you've got to get large glasses to protect your good eye. They've got to be this poly whatever strong, super strong lenses. And I started to say in my mind, what are the chances that I'm going to have a? And he looked at me like he knew what I was saying. He's like, you big dummy.
Yeah.
You didn't think you're going to have your other problem either. So.
I will say this, Dave. You're lucky because you're on TV that you didn't lose that head of hair of yours. Because I'll tell you what, you lose that, and
we can work around the eye.
Yeah. And then the other thing, excuse me for thinking this, is Channel 7 going to drop the whole eyewitness news thing? I mean, is that going to?
Stop it. We
done?
haven't done that for a while. Come on.
Okay.
No, we're good with that. I'll tell you what, when management walked into the room with me about 4 or 5 weeks ago, I made a little surprise appearance.
We saw that, yeah.
And I told my coworkers, I said, I know you got to smile when the boss walks in the room, because that's the same thing. Everybody's happy for the 20 seconds the boss is going by. But they are real people. They are great people. And as you said, Mojo, management there has just been tremendous to me.
It's impressive.
Yeah, they really, really, not just supporting me, but the things that you don't know behind the scenes, and the way they've reached out to me and helped me out has been fantastic.
All right, watch Dave Rexroth. He's back on Channel 7. They have a new show starting at 4 o'clock. What's it called?
The Now.
The Now. And then you'll do what? The 5?
We'll do 5. Tonight we're not doing 6 and 7 because of pregame and the Monday Night Football game on ABC.
Will you be staying up late to do?
Yeah. I do the 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11.
Do you realize the ratings you are going to have at whatever time the game ends at? Well, it will probably be 11 because it's an early 7 o'clock start, right?
Yeah, we'll be on channel 20,
you are
10, and 11 o'clock.
Did you renegotiate your contract? They at least owe you more money for this.
We'll see.
If you do great numbers after this one, seriously, I might just pull off a pinky or something. And do it for radio ratings.
Don't joke, except for during this commercial break when I'm going to tell him my idea for the Halloween episode with the chroma key,
okay.
the green screen eye. It's going to be an amazing.
My boys already thought that, and then they also wanted the Arnold Schwarzenegger laser eye.
Oh, the laser eye would be great.
God.
I said X-ray vision. I mean,
This is unbelievable. Is there any truth that you have X-ray vision and you've been looking at Shannon's blouse the entire time?
No depth perception, but she's nursing. I just want to tell you that.
She's on my left side. I'm not looking that way.
Yeah, we should have switched seats. You had to look at me the whole time. I'm sorry.
Dave Rexroth, thanks for coming in, man.